everyone, my name is Jessie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going over my favorite romance reads that I have read throughout the years to help celebrate Valentine's Day coming up. So the first category of books I'm going to talk about is for those of you who love, like me, the hate to love trope. I love when our main characters start out as enemies or really not liking each other, and we find that through all of this development and banter and just funny dialogue, they become lovers. I love that stuff. So the two books that I recommend for that particular trope would be The Hating Game, of course, by Sally Thorne. This one is just like the most classic hate to love romance that you can find. It's so wonderful. The two main characters are so lovable. The banter in this is so great. I was smiling the entire time I was reading this. I can't recommend it enough. And then another one that does this trope very well is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. This one is a lot of fun, especially in the summertime. Look at that tropical cover. It is about our two main characters starting out as enemies that have to go on this honeymoon together after a series of things happen, and that's all you need to know. It's just so much fun, and again, if you're looking for a great summertime read, this is definitely one to pick up. The next trope that I love as well is friends to lovers. So if you love when your main characters start out as best friends or just becoming friends, and then after some relationship development and some witty banter, they become lovers. Again, I love that trope. So here are a couple of books that do it very well. The first being Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating by Christina Lauren. This is one of my favorite romance reads ever. The two main characters are some of the most likable characters I've read in the romance genre so far. So I love this one. I highly recommend it if you're looking for an awesome friends to lovers book. And then another one, if you're looking for something that's a little bit steamier, that would be Fix Her Up by Tessa Bailey. I love this book. A lot of people don't, so I will warn you that it is, despite its adorable cover, very steamy. So if you don't like steamy romances, stay away from this. But if you do, you will love this. It is so much fun. The main girl character in this book is one of the most lovable out there, and the main guy character is where a lot of people find that they have problems with this book. I personally loved it. It worked for me, but it is more of like the alpha male type character. So if you don't like that, this may not be for you, but if you do, oh, this is so much fun. I loved this book. If you're looking for a book that has a second chance kind of romance, then I would recommend One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This follows our main character who is married to the love of her life. They have a very happy marriage, but he ends up going missing after a helicopter accident and he is presumed dead. So our main character is mourning for a couple years and ends up finding a new man who is wonderful, takes such good care of her. They definitely fall in love, but then she finds out that her husband has returned and has survived that helicopter accident when she thought he was dead all these years. So now she's stuck with figuring out what she wants. And I love this story. I have seen a couple people not like it as much, so it may not be for everyone. If you're looking for a story that has a little bit more punch, more emotional kind of romance, this may be for you. The other ones I've mentioned are a little bit lighter, fluffier, more fun, but if you're looking for something that is a little bit more emotional, this is a great one to turn to. Another book that I love that does the opposites attract trope very, very well is 1+1 by Jojo Moyes. This is a ton of fun about a single mom who is raising this wonderful son and is just trying her best in life and is very, very overwhelmed with being a single mom, and becomes friends with this brilliant tech millionaire who is the complete opposite of her, but somehow something works between them, and it's just the cutest little story. I loved this book so much. The characters, again, were so much fun to follow, and just if you're looking for a fun way to escape for a couple of hours, please consider picking up 1+1. Now, for those of you out there who are looking for something that is a little bit more about loving yourself and finding who you truly are, I would recommend What Alice Forgot by Leanne Moriarty, about a woman who, after an accident, forgets the past and has to rediscover who she is through the people in her life. And it is just such a great read about finding yourself, loving yourself, even despite all of your flaws, all the things you've done in the past, overcoming all of that to find happiness within yourself. This is such a great read. I loved it so much. It's one of my favorite Leanne Moriarty's that I've read. So if you haven't read it yet, I do highly recommend it. This author may look familiar to you because she also wrote Big Little Lies. So she's great. I always love her books, but definitely What Alice Forgot is one of my favorites. For those of you looking for a little bit more of a younger kind of read, a more young adult contemporary book about a coming of age love story, then I recommend I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. This is such a cute young adult contemporary written in the most whimsical writing style that is so much fun, so unique. The characters are wonderful. It's about these two twins and their separate paths that they're taking and kind of just how they rediscover each other while also discovering who they are. And it's just this adorable little coming of age love story as well. It's so much fun. I highly recommend this one if you like more of the young adult contemporary style books. I will leave this video off with two more fantasy kind of romances for those of you who like fantasy, but you also like when they focus a little bit more on romance. One that I'm going to talk about that is a little bit more of a cute, fluffy romance is An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. This has more of an insta-love kind of romance in it, so if you're not a fan of that, this may not be for you, but I personally really enjoyed this, even though I'm not usually a huge fan of insta-love. I still found that this was done very, very well. The writing style is gorgeous in this book, and I really liked our two main characters and kind of their cute, fluffy, sweet romance. It's just a very easy book to read. It's very short, so it's fast to get through, and you just kind of fall in love with this world and these characters for a couple of hours, and it just sweeps you off your feet with a cute little fluffy romance. So if you're looking for something that's just easy to read, a lot of fun, definitely consider An Enchantment of Ravens. And then the last book I have is another fantasy romance, and that is going to be Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. So this is actually a lot more than just romance. Romance in this book definitely is more of a subplot, but of all of the adult fantasy books that I have, I think Warbreaker has the best romance aspect to it. It has a very, very cute relationship inside of it that I really, really enjoyed. It was one of my favorite parts of this particular book. It is a standalone fantasy book from Brandon Sanderson, and it's a great way to start out with this author. If you've been interested in him for a while, I would recommend starting out with Warbreaker. It's a lot of fun. It has a lot more, like I said, than just the romance, but the romance in this definitely adds a lot to it and makes it one of my favorite Brandon Sanderson books for sure. So those are all of the romance kind of reads that I really loved. What are some of the ones that you love and are your favorites? Definitely leave your comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to. I release new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And until next time, bye!